Welcome to the Real and Real Estate Podcast, your go-to show for real estate success. Whether you're an agent aiming to crush it or a buyer or seller wanting the inside scoop, we're here to deliver expert advice, insider tips, and the real talk you need. Each episode, we chat with top industry pros to give you the facts, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive in this business. Let's dive in and make big moves together. Hi, welcome back to the Real and Real Estate, where we talk to the experts to get the facts and dispel the myths. And today I'm here with Garrett Maroon. I'm very happy to have Garrett here. He's from Virginia, or Southeast Virginia. He is the author of The Balanced Breakthrough. He's a realtor in Southeast Virginia, and he's the founder of The Faithful Agent, which is also a podcast. So we have one podcast talking to another. I love it.
Right.
So what I have here is that over the past 11 years, you've built 2.01, how do you say that? 210?
210 Collective,
Realty
yeah.
Group?
Yep.
210 Realty Group in Southeast Virginia, purely by fostering genuine relationships, which is what we're going to talk about today. Not cold leads. Everybody wants to buy cold leads. I don't believe in those either. And you've managed close to 650 homes, never working more than 40 hours a week. Amazing. So let's see, you've also had 250 episodes of the Faithful Agent podcast. So for those of you out there that are listening to my podcast, sign on to his as well. So welcome, Garrett. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jean. I'm super excited to be here, to talk about anything and everything that might encourage our industry.
Well, I love the fostering genuine relationships because our business is relationship based. It's all about relationships. You may have the best portfolio in the world, but if you don't click with your client, if they don't feel like they can trust you, or if they don't feel like they're going to enjoy this experience, you're not getting the job. And then after that, after you get the job and you help them buy or sell or both or whatever, then I think you've got to still continue to foster those relationships. Follow-up is so important. So
100%.
Now I've given my speech. Let's hear what you think.
No, I agree with you. I'll give you a super quick example, literally from this morning, Jean. So I sold a gentleman named Ewan a house in 2016. And I sold a house. We had a great time while we were doing that. And I worked my system, right? A follow-up system, building relationship. I call it systematic relationship building, where I was reaching out to him, checking on him month after month after month, not just mailers, emails, so that's good too, but text messages, handwriting notes, inviting him to events, right? He said nothing, Gene, nothing for 9 years, not even one response. And this morning he texted me, he said, Garrett, I'm super sorry. I wish I could read it in his accent. He's from Scotland and he's awesome. Way more cool, way cooler than I am. But he texted me and he says, Garrett, I'm really sorry. I've been so busy with work, brother. I never responded to anything, but I'm getting ready to move to Colorado for work. Can you come sell my home? Right. And so it is about this consistency of care for people. And the reality is not everyone is going to engage with us, and that's okay. It's, am I going to continue to show up just because I know that they either need to be cared for or that one day they might need an agent, right? Which is a byproduct, in my opinion, of caring for them well. I'd rather just show up well and say, the kind of person in my life who I know cares is the person that has just shown up consistently, even when maybe I don't respond or it takes me a long time to respond. The people that are always getting something from me, well, of course they're coming back for more. And so I think it's powerful for us to say, not only am I going to commit to you now, right? I'll tell buyers or sellers, here's the reality. What we're about to do, right? Helping you buy a home, let's say, helping you get into a home, that's amazing. And that's good. But that's the least important thing we're about to do. And they'll say, what does that mean? I say, the most important thing we're about to do is develop a genuine friendship, because you all are much more than people that can own or buy a home. You all are, you have desires, you have dreams, you have goals, you have a family, whatever their scenario is. And my passion, my purpose is to not just care for you now, but to care for you literally forever until one of us is gone. Right? That's the heart behind this, because you are more than the number in the paycheck that you can spend on buying a new mortgage. That's the heart of what we do. And you made comment of it earlier, Gene, which I agree 100%. Trust is the only real currency in business anymore. With AI, with all the online leads you talked about, all those things, if I can't trust you, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. So do I think you're real, right? Unfortunately, we got to ask that now with AI. Do I think you're real? And do I think that you actually genuinely care? And if I do, I'm going to assume that you're good at what you do. And so come help me, right? And that's just how humans are wired to make decisions. So I could talk about that forever. We don't have forever, right, Gina? I'm a podcast host as well. I get it.
Right.
But for me, that's the heart. That's a quick overview kind of my thought process.
Yeah, and you're talking about friendship and etc. I have made so many friends. Not, I mean, I did that wasn't the purpose of my helping them, but we've just stayed friends. We go to lunch, we go to happy hour, we do whatever. I had an ice cream social a couple of weeks ago, and people came. Uh, it's such a wonderful byproduct to end up with someone you didn't know before. They call in, you keep working with them because you guys just have that kind of relationship. And this one client I've done like 9 deals with,
Hmm.
and they just keep coming back, not because I'm begging, but because they know they can trust me because they know that I'll do a good job and they're
Right.
comfortable with me. And
Yeah.
it's just wonderful. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful. And no, you don't become good friends with everybody,
Yes.
but
Right.
there are some that you do, and that's the best byproduct of this job, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. We have old clients of ours in 2019, I believe this young military couple was moving into our area and we kind of got to know them and I stayed in touch through work, but we didn't really hit it off initially. Well, then for whatever reason, I honestly don't remember, we just hit it off at some point. We ended up inviting them to church. They started to come. Now they're our best friends. Less than a year ago, they bought in our neighborhood and they walk here with their kids and we walk there with our kids. Right?
Fantastic.
These are clients and they still are, but it's deeper than that. To your point, that's if you want to build that kind of business, it's not built on the back of cold calling, door knocking. It's built on the back of if I show up and I love people well that are right here. The beauty of the beautiful byproduct, like you said, is my business can grow. What a joy that that's the
Yes.
kind of business we get to build if we resist the industry long enough who says, no, 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 this is success. I had a coach. I'll give you a quick example, Gene. So in my second year in real estate, I sold 50 houses that year by referral. Everyone told me it wasn't possible. I'm not from here, but I just wanted to figure it out. And thankfully I was able to figure it out. Well, anyways, I hired a coach after that. And I said to the coach, look, here's my stated goal. I don't need to sell more houses. I remember telling her, I don't need to sell more. I want to figure out how to do it in less and less time. I want to go home, right? That's my goal here.
Yeah.
And so after our first call, Gene, she says, okay, Garrett, here's your homework for the week. You need to make 300 cold calls and you need to door knock 100 people. And I was like, what?
Oh,
I'm not going
oh,
to do that. I've never done that.
yeah.
And she said, well, then you're
Yeah.
not going to succeed. Well, we get on the phone the next time and she said, did you do your homework? No, I did not do my homework. She said, Garrett, if you want to succeed in this industry, you got to cold call, you got to door knock, you got to, and I just said, look, here's the reality. That's not me. I want to be who I am and succeed to that level. I don't want to go be
Yes.
somebody else, no matter what no matter what quote unquote level of success that might get me. It isn't if I have to be inauthentic. It isn't if it's going to take more time away from my family. I'm not defining success that way. So I think we run smack dab, Gene, into an industry that says, cool, you love relationships. That's great. Good for you. Now go do all of these other things.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. And we have to fight against that because it's natural that we're going to fall into say, okay, I better go do social media. I better go cold call because that's what all the good agents are doing. I mean, is it right? Like, what kind of life do you want? You decide what success looks like. And then once you figure out what success looks like to you, then you say, what kind of business do I need to serve that life? We don't show up and say, well, everybody's doing this, so I have to do that too. We don't know if that's true until you figure out what are we actually aiming for. So there's danger in the industry of telling us this is what a successful agent looks like because it's not one size fits all.
No, it's not. That might work for them. It doesn't work for everybody. And to the point you just made, uh, in Houston, she is passed now, but she built an amazing business, Martha Turner, which
Hmm.
is now Martha Turner Sotheby's. But I was able to work for her one time and I interviewed her because I just wanted, how'd you get from A to B?
Mhm.
And she says, you have to hit them where they ain't. So if everybody is
Mhm.
cold calling or everybody's doing this, that doesn't mean it's right for you. Let's do something else. If everybody is texting, then why don't you write a note? And I
Mm.
thought that was invaluable information. And I think that's
Great
kind of what
advice.
you alluded to just now.
Yeah, that is great advice. It is, I know statistically, less than 0.7% of mail today is a handwritten note. Why would I not
Yes.
be one of those points of they're going to look at it, they're going to read it, right? I know
Right.
that no one ever drops a gift off at my door just because other than Amazon, but I paid for that, right? And so
Yeah, that's
why
not
would
just
I?
because.
Right, exactly. That's because my wife clicked the button. That's the
Yeah.
because. But it's not. No, very few people are purposeful with relationships anymore, right? We are alone. We might feel more connected than ever because of technology and social media, but we are more alone than we've ever been. Over communicated, under cared for. And so, what does it look like for you to show up and just drop off a gift just because? Doesn't matter how
Mhm.
expensive it is. Hey, I just wanted to show up because I was thinking about you. When was the last time someone texted you or reached out to you or showed up at your house and said, I was just thinking about you. How are you doing? That doesn't happen in our world, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
as agents, in my opinion, it's as simple as how do we just show up and care for people well? If we just, and it doesn't need to be complex. It's what are people not doing, to your point, which I love that advice. Well, they're not just reaching out just to see how they're doing, right? They're not inviting them to fun things like an ice cream social. We did one in June. They're not writing them notes just to show that they care. They're not dropping off a little gift just because that doesn't exist right now. People
No.
need to be cared for, not just connected, cared for. And it's simple things like that that I think as agents we bought into the lie that it's not big, shiny, whatever. And so we don't need to do that, right? Relationships come, whatever. I mean, I talk to lots of teams all the time. We've got the referrals down, man. We moved on to bigger, better things. I mean, have you? Do you have those down?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's so much pressure, I think, in our industry to move away from it.
Absolutely. And now, time for a short break.
Ready to jumpstart your social media strategy? I'm Katie Lance, and the Get Social Smart Academy is your go to for smarter content planning. Get weekly trainings, Canva templates, and AI tools to save time and grow your business. Go to katielance.com/academy to join us today.
And I'll let you speak to this in a moment too. But you said something about, you're new, you're just starting out, you don't really know the area. And that kind of happened to me at the beginning. It's like I thought back in those days, you got a desk once you got quote unquote hired or admitted to the brokerage. And I remember sitting down at my desk for the first time and going, oh my God, what do I do now? So I started talking to
Mm-mm.
some of the top agents. How did you get from A to B? Blah, blah, blah. And one of them said to me that he had moved to the city, not knowing anyone. And he got started by going to breakfast at the same place every day. And eventually people saw him and, they started talking and he started doing business with them. And well, I don't eat breakfast much. So I do that with Starbucks and I've got so much business, but it was by building the relationships.
Mm-mm.
Finally, people get to talking to you. What are you doing here? I see you every day. Then you have coffee together, and it just kind of snowballs. But it's as you said, genuine. I think it's very authentic that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just going out there and knocking on a door and just got, okay, check, I got that sale. Let's move on to the
Mm-hmm.
next one. I don't care about that person anymore. I send handwritten birthday cards. I send happy house anniversary, all that sort of thing that I think is important now.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my
Awesome.
speech again. So you tell me, you
No,
tell me what your suggestions are to people that, how do I get started in building a genuine relationship if I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on cold calls that seldom work anyway, in my opinion.
yeah, right, exactly. And I love something that you said there made me think about this, right? The reality in our industry is all the money being spent, right? Last year it was roughly $30 billion spent on real estate technology. In the Zillows and the realtor.coms and all those places, they're trying to replace us. That's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to
I
get
know.
the money that we would have earned. Well, okay, whatever. I get it. It's business. This is the way the industry works. This is how America works, whatever. Here's what they can't replace, though, right? They could buy that cold call sheet and call them better or quicker. They could, set up an AI agent who can respond any time of the day or night and do it better and faster than you. What they can't buy from you is the relationships that you poured your time and energy and effort into. They will never take those from you. So the safest way, right? If your business is solely built on Zillow, let's say, you're renting from Zillow. They could change their algorithm, and guess what? Your business is gone. No one can
Right.
take your relationships. You got to build your foundation on solid ground, which is the relationship. So, to your point, my encouragement for any agent, first of all, is I'm not from the area that I'm in. I started with 40 people in my database, but it took me 5.5 months to make a sale. Now, I was doing the right stuff. I was creating relationships. I was learning. I was growing, right? All those things, but it
Right.
took me a while. And so, first, if you're a newer agent and you're struggling or you're trying to shift from cold calling to relationships, give yourself a long enough runway. The plane will take off. It's just that most people cut their runway at 3 months when it should have been 6 months, and the plane never took off.
Yeah.
Well, we're building for the long term. If I'd shut it down at 3 months, I don't know that I'd even be in this industry, let alone if I was, I doubt it would have been built on relationships the way I wanted to, because I would have given up too quickly. So
Right.
give yourself a runway, agent, to build and nurture those relationships. You reap what you sow. So spend the time sowing. If I was a brand new agent, didn't know anybody in this market, I would do one, exactly what you said. I would go sit at a local coffee shop. I'd go there as often as I can. I'd get to know the people, right? I would just be in genuine relationship with them. For me, I'd find a home church. I'd get in a relationship with those people. I have friends that have gone and played kickball or pickleball or whatever. There's a lot, even if you, I get this question a lot, Gene, you probably do too. They'll say, well, what if I'm not extroverted? I'll say, great. Most of the world isn't, right? So you're not, yeah. So go find, I was helping somebody and I said, tell me what you have an affinity for. What do you naturally enjoy? And she said, Garrett, I love drinking wine and I love crime podcasts. And I'm like, fantastic, right? And I said, how many other people, because she's very introverted. I said, how many other people do you know probably are the exact same way? She's like, I bet a lot. They just don't talk about it. And so I said, what if you just created something that monthly gathering, get together at your home, bring your favorite wine. We're going to listen to our favorite crime podcast together, whatever it is. There are people like you. Your job is not to be for everybody because that's impossible. Not everybody's going to like me. Not everybody's going to like Gene. Your job is to be so real, so authentic that the people that are like, man, I've been waiting for somebody like that, that they're attracted to you because you say, hey, join me for a wine and a crime podcast, right? Like I wouldn't go to that, but I know a ton of people that would. And so the
Absolutely.
reality is the best way for us to attract your vibe attracts your tribe. They talk about that. And that's true. But I mean more specifically, the best way for you to find those people you can deepen relationships with, you can serve, and the byproduct is business, is be really, really, really authentic to who you are. I'll give a super quick example, Gene. So my lead agent, Jesse, he loves to fish. And I don't. He has a boat. He loves to go out and fish. Like I'd rather hang out with my kids or nap, right?
Yeah.
Transparent. And so, but he loves fishing. I don't. And so his second year in the industry, he joined my team. His second year in the industry, he was doing really well. And I said, Jesse, here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep doing this referral stuff, but I want to give you permission to go fish inside your business hours. He was like, what does that mean? I said, man, there are so many people out there, I bet, who would love to join you fishing because that's who they are too, that I bet if you were just really open about that, you would grow your business. So he goes, and he's really sharp, but he goes and he starts a Facebook group called Real Estate, REEL, for a real fishing line.
Right. Right. Got
And he
it. Got
invites, yeah, he invites people in. He only had 40 people in that group. He invited some of them occasionally to go fishing with him during the week. He was going 3 times a week during work hours. He'd post about stuff that he did. He rarely posted about real estate. He sold 7 houses from that group alone, year one, with only 40 people in it.
it.
Why?
Wow.
Because they're like, look, I'm like you too. And they'll refer you if they like you and they find that they are like you. So like, I like Jesse and I'm like Jesse. So that's my dude. That's the guy I'm going to go to, right? That's the girl I'm going to go to.
Right.
So we need to be open, honest, transparent. This is who I am. I'm not what the industry tells me to be. I'm me. No one else can be me. I'm going to be me. And people will be attracted to that.
I interviewed a lady a couple weeks ago, and she built her business on newsletters. That's what she was comfortable doing. She says, I'm not an extrovert. I'm
Mhm.
not going to go cold calling, knock on doors. She started a local it was like a newsletter for the area, for the neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah.
And she built her business on that, and she still
Mhm.
does that, and that's it
Awesome.
still grows. But that's what made her comfortable. That's what she enjoyed doing.
Absolutely. Yep. What we naturally show up and do, we will naturally be more consistent on. We will naturally be better at it, right? If someone told me and you right now, Gene, that, hey, the only way to build this business is cold call, I'm not saying we couldn't figure it out. I'm saying we wouldn't be as good as the person who's totally wired to go cold call and wants to do it all the
Oh,
time,
absolutely.
right? Why would we
Absolutely.
build
Yes.
against how we're naturally wired. The job in real estate that I try to encourage agents is your job is not to go do all the things, social media, to cold call, to door knock, buy leads,
Focus.
all the stuff. Your job is to figure out who you are and go be excellent at that. Who are
Focus
you?
on that. Yeah.
Wired to be. Go be excellent at that. And that could be anything, right? So we have a beautiful industry that says you can build however you want. The challenge is you got to pick and stop getting distracted by all the shiny objects. It's like, hey, my business is going well, but I think I need to start doing, whatever, a YouTube channel. I mean, do you? I don't know, but ask the question, do I need to do that? Is that who I am? Or am I just chasing this shiny object that somebody else said? Is it traction or is it distraction? Is it getting me where I need to go? Or is it just shiny? And we have to have clarity in that. And I would love to have an industry that just operates fully authentic, right? I heard this quote from a pastor friend, and it applies to our business, but he said, God loves the real you, not the ideal you. And our industry needs to hear that your clients want the real you, not the ideal you. So just show up and be yourself. If anything, the easiest thing to do is to show up and be you and just do it really well. And people will be attracted to that.
AI is very popular. It's going to be around forever. I'm not discounting it at all, but I will promise you all the texts and emails and things I get, I can tell if they're not written by a person, and I delete.
Nice.
I want to talk to the person. I want to interact with the person. I don't want to be just, I can tell.
Yeah. AI
Well,
has
listen,
made relationships more important, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah. So before we run out of time, tell me about, you're an author and you have a podcast. So tell us about that in case anyone wants to tune in.
Yep. Yeah. So they can go, the book comes out November 25th, called
Oh,
The Balance.
fantastic.
The Balance Breakthrough, Winning at Work Without Losing at Life. And so the whole heart is, how do we redefine success for ourselves? And then how do we get equipped to actually pursue that well? And so it is written to the real estate industry. That's my heart. That's where I come from.
Perfect.
I have a passion for agents to redefine the win. So they can go to thebalancebreakthrough.com right now, and it'll give them a free download of what I call the PDA formula. So how to build a predictable, profitable business that aligns with who you are, much of what we're talking about, Gene. And so it's pieces from the book. So thebalancebreakthrough.com, they can go grab that totally free. And then the podcast. So the Faithful Agent podcast is from a Christian lens, building a biblical real estate business that both is growing your business and your faith. And so, for any agent there, and it's any agent I hope would benefit from it. But it's really geared towards the Christians in this industry because there aren't a lot of people talking to us and to them. And so my hope is that will be an encouraging place for them as well.
Fantastic. Well, after you listen to my podcast, tune into the Faithful
That's
Agent
right.
podcast.
I appreciate that.
And
That's
then
right.
check out his book. I actually wrote 2 little books also based on my experience by talking to top producers, because that's how I got, it's like, what do I do now? That's kind of top producers steps to success in real estate. And then I did a workbook that followed it. So check out all of those, everybody that's listening. Any final words, Garrett, before we leave?
Well, so many, Gene. I'm an agent and extroverted, right? So there's the problem. But all I would say is this: my encouragement is your job is to show up and be you. If anything you take away from today, just go ask yourself, last week, what did I do that wasn't me? What do I need to start doing that is me? If you just do that, it's going to change the way your business and your life flows.
So genuine, authentic, and I love the line you had, traction, not distraction. I think that is amazing line. So
thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Garrett, for your time. Maybe we can come back on and later and talk about this some more, because we just scratched the surface.
That's right. Thanks for having me, Gene.
Thanks. In the meantime, look at his book, check out his book, and check out the podcast. Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real and Real Estate Podcast. I hope today's insights have inspired and empowered you. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with anyone who might benefit. Have questions or a topic you'd like us to explore? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep moving towards success.